Good morning, everybody. This is Lady Blue, the Lady Blue Radio Show on WMSK Online Radio, where talk radio just got better. I hope everybody is having a fantastic day. The weather is gorgeous outside. I was happy to get up this morning. Take that breath in, smile, and I know today's going to be a good day. As we get started today, let's just remember that you are here, you are breathing, you are awake, you have a chance to work on what you didn't get to do yesterday. Yesterday is gone. Don't even look back. Look forward to your future and what it has for you. All right, we are going to welcome in my special guest today, and that is life coach, motivational speaker, author, lady, Miss Linda Lowe. Linda, say hello to me.
Hey, everyone.
How you doing today?
I am doing great. Like you said, it's beautiful outside. Oh,
yes.
my gosh.
Yes.
So I'm loving that weather.
If we could turn this radio station inside out.
Hey, let's do it.
Hey, with the sunshine and everything. Let me tell you. Well, Linda, I'm so glad that you're here today. And we're just going to, let it flow today. And, let it go where it takes us. But I want you to tell everybody out there a little bit about you. Who is Linda Lowe?
Okay, so I am Linda D. Lowe, and born and raised in the DMV, PG County area, and all my life still live there. And let's see, what else? Like you said, motivational speaker, life coach. I cater a lot to women, single women, youth, teens, in that age group. And I just love doing that. I've been doing that now for like 10 years, and it's awesome. I enjoy it. I have a daughter who is now a teenager, so she is like 1 foot in the house, 1 foot out the house. So, and I don't plan on having any more.
Okay, so we're going to add the title of mom to that, counselor, guidance counselor. Thank you very much. Yes, all the things that moms do that is not on that resume when you get in the job.
Yeah, chef, chauffeur.
There you go.
Yes.
Everything and anything. Jack of all trades, master of none. All right, we're going to just delve in. And the first thing I want to ask you about, Linda, is your book. We're gonna dive into the book in different aspects. But what I want to know is, why dating tips?
Well, because it was basically based off of just experiences that I gained in life.
Okay.
And then just, looking at culture, and especially the Christian culture, I would say.
Okay.
And it's like, dang, like we're doing it wrong.
Okay.
Because we're taking our cues from BET, MTV, and right. So we take our cues from that, and growing up on that, I know exactly what they're offering, what they're putting out there, what they're saying, how we should do it, Okay. And so I'm like, okay, we need to take a step back, because there are, just a lot of people, male and female, who just really don't have an idea of what to do.
Okay.
And so it's like, they get into these relationships that are just absolutely horrible, because they're searching for love and they want love and they want to be with somebody, but they don't really know how to go about that.
Okay. And you touched on my next question is, what is it that you see going on that motivated you to write this book? Can you give a couple of the things you touched on a little bit, about doing relationships wrong, getting into wrong relationships? What else do you see in terms of dating, whether you're Christian, even non-Christian? What do you see?
Well, yeah, just getting into these things, and I think the biggest one, and I'm gonna say it's for male and female, is that they think that they can change. We think that we can change people.
Yes, that is a biggie.
Yeah. and it's not just for ladies.
Right.
It's for guys too, because they think that, that they can change the girl, and they don't, So I think that's the biggest thing that we do wrong. We go in there thinking that we're going to change them and say, I'm going to make them better.
Okay.
That's the whole thing. When in turn, we're not even good enough ourselves.
Okay.
So here it is that we who are broken trying to fix other broken people.
Ooh.
And so it becomes an issue. And honestly, the thing is that, you know, when someone gets into a relationship, and depending on who's more dominant,
okay,
they will end up changing the other person.
Okay.
And usually, you know, we come out that relationship and we're like, yo, how far did I get? Like, how did I get here? Okay. And that's what a lot of people ask themselves after certain relationships. How did I get here? How did I end up doing this? How did I end up, you know, just, yeah.
Do you find self-reflection from what I'm hearing you say, and then from what I know, should self-reflection take place during the relationship, or if you end the relationship, then self-reflect on it?
I would say self-reflection needs to happen before relationship.
Okay.
Because you need to know who you are. You need to know exactly, you know, well, I wouldn't say exactly, but you need to know, have an idea of what you want, what you'll put up with, what you'll tolerate, those negotiables, those non-negotiables, all that stuff. And then, you know, once you get into a relationship, yes, self-reflection should happen then, and then even after.
Okay.
Because life is about a journey, it's about growing each step.
Right.
And if a person never learns, you know, from previous experiences, it's like, okay, you have those people who never mature.
Right.
And that's because they don't learn from previous mistakes.
Right.
And so
they figure because it's new, everything is going to be new, but they're not looking at, okay,
yes,
what am I bringing
yes,
to the table?
Yes.
That's a huge one. Ladies, men, listen up.
Yes.
What am I bringing to the table? And let's go one more step further. What I've noticed is, for myself, okay, is I feel women should be able to understand men, and men should be able to understand women. And by that I mean, and I'm not talking about everybody get in touch with your masculine and your feminine side, unless that's what you want to do. What I'm saying is understanding how and why men do what they do, and why women do what they do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I know you got your dating tips, but this is where I'm coming from. Ladies, understand that men want to fix things. That's who they are. They want to, you come out going, this is a problem, they're going to try to figure out a way to fix it for you. Women like to talk. Mm-hmm. So if you are not great at listening, and you just want to talk over the situation, that poses a problem. Mm-hmm. Okay? And both have to be able to communicate. Communication is huge. Yes, so talk a little bit about communication between men and women, and we're going to bring in other relationships too, because it's in this day and age we live in, it's not always just men and women that are in relationships. You've got your LGBT relationships, you've got your church relationships, you've got your job relationships, you've got relationships on all different levels. So talk about communication.
One thing I know is that communication, like you say, on all levels, with any kind of interacting with someone else outside of yourself, is communication is key. Okay. Relationships break down because there's a lack of communication. And sometimes we don't seek to understand one another. Okay. Because we do communicate differently. Right. Each person communicates differently, and if I communicate one way, and if I'm only in my head, and if I'm only in my box, only in my world, then I think that everybody else communicates like me. Mm-hmm. So when I speak, everything I say, I'm assuming that you're getting it because that's how I communicate. Okay. But see, not knowing that everybody has a different communication style. And so I think that's, we get tripped up there as well. Okay. Because we think that everybody else thinks like us. Okay. And no, everybody does not think like us, you know. Right. You have some people that think like you do, but then you have others who don't think like you do, like the whole introvert extrovert. Okay. You know, when you begin to understand who you are, and you begin to understand who, someone else is, it helps you to relate to them better. So like you were saying, in terms of, guys and girls, how ladies, the majority of them, I'm not going to say all of them, because there are some ladies out there that would rather fix your stuff opposed to have a conversation with you. Right. And the opposite with the guy as well. So you just have to know know yourself and know the other person, and get to know them.
Okay. Now I'm gonna bring in something that I hear all the time from females, because some females feel that men are looking for their mothers as opposed to looking for a relationship. I need somebody that cooks like my mama. I need somebody that cleans like my mama. I need somebody that mama. There's nothing wrong with mama. Trust me, we all have one, okay? But when it comes to a relationship and separating from family, what's your take on that?
So when you say separating from family, what do you, or are you talking about,
I'm not dating mama.
Okay.
I'm dating you.
Okay. And I think that needs to be clear. Okay. But honestly, even the other way around, because girls are, you hear that, okay, ladies are looking for someone who resembles their dad.
Okay.
And that's true, because that's what we're familiar with.
Right.
And so that familiarity is basically ingrained in our mind, and without even us recognizing it for real.
Okay.
Because we grow up with this, and the guys, they see their mother doing this and taking care of them and all this other stuff, and the same with the ladies. And so you grow up, and that's kind of what you're looking for. Now, you can use that as a guide, but don't use it as, okay, well, I need you to be exactly like my mom. No. Or I need you to be exactly like my dad.
Okay.
No. For instance, my dad is like 6'4" or something like that.
Right.
Dark skin.
Right.
And I usually gravitate towards guys. I'm more attracted to darker men and tall men. Okay. Because that resembles my dad. Now, am I looking for them to have every aspect of what my dad has? No. And so I can see how when we do grow up, we look for those things that we are used to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, because I'm gonna bring this in because in families, boys learn from their mothers how to respect a woman, how to treat a woman, whereas girls learn how to be treated from their fathers. As long as it's working the right way, okay. There's always a little dysfunction in families somewhere, but in this case, we're talking about how men and women, boys and girls learn. So, and I always tell my children, how you act in here is how you're gonna bring it out outside the door. So, I'm gonna bring in this point. Should you? We talked about knowing yourself. Being able to understand what you do want, what you don't want. What about setting? Should you set and achieve goals in a relationship like you do in real life, or should it just flow as a relationship should, without expectation in terms of what you're going to do on a daily basis? Like being on a schedule.
Okay, so like the type A personality. There you go. And you mapping out everything. I think, yes, there needs to be some sort of goal setting. Now, to the point where you're being anal about it, no. But just like we have a plan for our lives, okay, I plan to go to college. I plan to, get married. I plan to have kids. I plan to get this job. I plan to open this business. I plan to, those kind of stuff. So, yes, I would say, yes, a general plan would help towards whatever, relationship goals. And there needs to be a level of realistic expectations. Okay. For instance, if I get into a relationship, I will communicate, my expectation from a guy is that you will respect me. That's a legitimate expectation.
Gotcha.
Now, let's just hit on some unrealistic expectations. And this is the one I use in my book, where a lady may say, well, I need my man to have 6-figure income, but she ain't got no income herself. And so that's like, okay, well, what are you doing to contribute to bring, income to the relationship?
All right.
So the expectations, they have to be realistic. And not only do they need to be realistic, but once you enter into that relationship, they have to be communicated.
Okay.
Because both parties should have some sort of expectation that's realistic and that each other can work with.
Okay. Now, I want to bring this in because I've read this book and I'm still getting to reading your book, but this is why I got you here today. Okay. We all know the fever around Steve Harvey's book, Act Like a Lady, Think Like a Man.
Okay.
Okay. And Steve is very big on the 90-day okay.
timeline.
That 3-month thing. Okay. How do you feel about time frames?
Well, coming from a Christian's perspective and living for God and pleasing God, because there's a lot of people out there that will call the name of God, but they're not interested in living for God.
Okay.
And God says, you know, purity above all things is most important.
Okay.
And so 90 days in terms of sex, no.
Okay.
When you all get married, that's when it needs to happen to seal the deal. Bam. But before that, I don't want to attach myself to nobody.
Okay.
You know, because that's where relationships get extremely, you go deeper.
Okay.
Sex is going to another level, going deeper, getting to know someone. And I actually posted on Facebook the other day, just was saying that, you know, basically sex is like a super glue. It was made to connect two people on a deeper level.
That's interesting.
And
super glue.
And the thing is that it works if you're married or not.
Okay.
So if you are married, it works and it benefits you. If you're not married, then it still works and it doesn't benefit you. So that's how I see it in terms of, you know, of waiting. And even just to go just certain things in terms of even outside of sex, I think that there needs to be a time frame in terms of how fast or how slow you move or how the relationship moves, because some people can even get so attached without sex that, you know, it'll push the other person away.
Okay.
They look really thirsty, really desperate, because they may want to get married, because they're working off of a timeline like, I have to be married by this age and I have to have kids by this age, and, you know, and so yeah.
Okay.
So it's like, okay, well, slow down. Let's just get to know each other. My thing is, let's get to know each other as friends, meaning that there's no strings attached where I don't have to call you, you don't have to call me. Let's hang out. Let's just gravitate towards each other. And if we gravitate apart, then
okay. Because the one thing that I find in that, you know, worked for me within my relationship is we understood the levels that we were on: spiritual, mental, physical, okay, all of that good stuff, so that we were in tune to ourselves as well as being in tune to each other. And the biggest thing for us, without mentioning my honey's name, is the fact that, you know, we can be friends, we laugh, we joke, we talk, we act goofy. At the same time, we communicate, we talk. If it bothers him, we sit down and talk about it. We don't rush and push the issue. And I think that's another thing we need to talk about. It, you know, there's this rush. Okay, should I kiss by the third date? You know, should I hold hands by this time? You know, it's this fever to hurry up and get to that societal view of, I have the perfect relationship. So give me a little bit on that one.
So with that, again, I think sometimes, again, because of that desperate feeling of trying to get something, I always say, okay, for everybody who is extremely desperate to, you know, get married, because you feel like that's your goal in life, then what you gonna do after you marry? What's you know?
What's the big picture?
Right. What's the big picture afterwards? Okay. It's like, okay, well, you live all your life from childhood up until this point to get married, and then it's like, what? You know, a lot of people spend more time on planning their wedding opposed to spending time on learning and understanding what it takes to make a marriage work.
Okay. You gotta take time to know.
Yeah. Just like, you know, it takes time to get through school. You know, we can't go from first grade to 12th grade.
Why not?
There's just stuff that we don't know about the 12th grade when we're, you know, in the first grade.
Okay.
So we just have to take that step. And I'm not saying, because I don't believe in long, drawn out engagements.
Okay. Notice how she said that, long, drawn out engagement.
I don't believe in that, but I do believe that there's a time where you are getting to know each other. Because this is one thing, you will never, ever get to know 100% about somebody. Okay. We don't even know 100% about ourselves.
Okay.
because we act different in different situations.
Okay.
So the way that I would react if I was facing, death will be totally different if I knew that I'm alive,
Okay.
So it's totally different. So we're not going to get to know everybody 100% because we don't even know ourselves 100%.
Okay.
But there is a level of how you get to know people and say, you know what? I think that I'm willing to work with this person, and I know that this person is willing to work with me, so we can make it work.
Okay. All right. So let's keep going because I'm liking this. In terms of when you get to that point where you're exclusive with each other, okay, and you're starting to bring things together and build things towards whatever your goal is in this relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's just say that it's marriage, because marriage would be, I would think, an ultimate goal out of a long-term relationship. When you're building these goals and these steps and these avenues, planning or just working it out together as it comes, which one works better for you?
I think there has to be both.
Okay.
I think there needs to be a plan in place. Say, for instance, let's say that so you decide, okay, well, you both decide that you want children. Okay, so you will start to put a plan in place in terms of how you want to raise your children. Are we going to spank the kids? Are we going to, what are we going to do? You put a plan in place, and then once it come along, then you go along with the flow. So I think it's both. I think you should have a plan, but of course, as we know, life doesn't always go according to our plans. Because we set out a plan and say, I'm gonna do X, Y, and Z, but then we have to end up doing A, B, C. But just as long as we keep going, that's the thing. Okay. And we work and we tweak as it comes along, because we cannot plan out every single detail that's going to happen.
Okay.
We can just look at it like, okay, well, this is how I want it to happen, and this is what I'll do. Okay. That's where the whole, I guess, plan A, plan B come from.
Okay.
And so, so just I would say yes. Have a plan, but if it doesn't go according to plan, then just switch things up.
Okay.
Switch things up.
Should you have a backup plan in case the relationship doesn't go? And I'm not gonna say go the way you want it to go, but just doesn't go.
Just doesn't go, and that is what marriage is for. If it doesn't go the way that you planned it to go, then you create a new plan with that person. You all create a plan together, and that's the thing. I always say that divorce doesn't happen because people are not compatible. It happens because people are no longer willing to work with each other.
All right.
They're no longer willing to work with each other, receive whatever help that they need to receive. You may have one person that's willing, but then you have another person that isn't.
Okay.
Or you may have both parties that aren't willing.
Okay.
And so that's where divorce comes from, because you have stories upon stories of couples who have made it through the fire, made it through the desert. I mean, just you can sit there and listen to their stories and be like, you still with them? What?
That is true.
Hold on.
You've been through what?
Right, exactly. You've been through abuse, you've been through adultery, you've been through, just crazy stuff.
Right.
That but when you look at those couples and they begin to tell their story, and even how those things that they've been through made their relationship stronger. Okay. And I think we tend to, as soon as something happens, we're like, well, no, I'm out because I don't like this, or I don't want to work with this.
Okay. So it's like if you're going to get up and go to your job every day, you got to get up and go to your marriage every day.
Exactly.
Okay. I can get with that. All right. Well, we're going to come back to this wonderful conversation with Linda Lowe. This is the Lady Blue radio show with your girl, Lady Blue, on WMSK Online Radio, where talk radio just got better. Discussion is getting good. Okay, so I hope y'all ready for part 2. But we're going to talk a little bit before we go back into the dating. I want to talk about a few of the other things that you do, Linda. You have your own talk show called Girl Talk.
Coming up.
Okay.
Coming up. Yes.
All right. I was just gonna say, when's that happening? Right.
So that's not the first show will be on May 5th. Okay. 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that comes on then. So yes, the Linda D. Lowe show Girl Talk, where it's primarily geared towards single women, and we're talking about all things that single women go through: single parenting, starting a business, baby daddies. We're going to hit on our finances. We're going to talk about every single thing pertaining to a single woman's life in the 21st century.
Okay.
Dating, all of it.
All right.
Marriage, yeah.
We're going to look out for that one. I want to talk a little bit about your being a life coach. How long have you been a life coach?
So technically, I've done this now consistently for 1 year. But through my time span of 10 years since I've been, just doing everything, I've done it off and on.
Okay.
But consistently now for 1 year, because I always have someone, whether a young lady, whomever, I always have someone that I'm coaching. So.
Okay. All right. The one thing that I did notice is that as a life coach, you talk to a life worth living, and I really like that. And can you speak a little bit more on your motto? And your motto was, I want to see you thrive on your life, not just survive, or thrive in your life, not just survive.
Right. So thriving is so big. I remember I was working a job, and my boss told me that, and he was like, I just want to see you thrive in life. And when he said that, I was just like, wow. Taken to the next level, because surviving, you're just doing what you need to do to make ends meet, to get by, and you're not really living. You just exist, basically, but you're not living, you're not enjoying life, you're not taking advantage of it. So with that, not just surviving but actually thriving, doing what you love to do, having joy even in the midst of pain. Recognizing that, yes, we will have our times where life seems too much, but let's not live in that time. Let's recognize that that's there, but then also be able to continue on in life, to bounce back when we've been pushed back. And so it's about creating the life that you want. Some people think, well, these are the cards that I was dealt. No, we create the life that we want. We can make it a good life, or we can make it a miserable life.
Right.
Now, is that to say that certain things that, of course, again, going back to that plan that we haven't planned for will happen or won't happen? Yeah, certain things will come in that we hadn't planned for. Right. But then it's also about, well, what kind of perspective am I going to have when these things happen?
Me personally, I believe, there's places that you plan in your life, but you don't plan your life, you live your life. Okay? The things that you plan to do in your life, you got to go with the flow, because they either going to happen or they ain't. That's a life lesson I learned all too well.
Right.
on that.
Yeah, and that's true. You have to go with the flow.
Right.
With a lot of things, you have to go with the flow, because, again, it doesn't always go according to how we want to map it out.
Correct.
But don't miss those moments. And don't, it's just some people who will never achieve certain things in life because they're always looking at the negative, and they're always saying, woe is me, or they're always saying, well, everybody else is doing better, but I can't seem to, because they're always looking at other people.
Right.
So they can't get anywhere themselves.
Right. Never compare yourself to anybody else, because you only you. You can't be everybody else.
Yeah.
Okay. Are there any ups and downs to being a life coach?
Yes, I would definitely say there is, just like with anything, in terms of, because it's almost similar to, you hear a lot of things that could make you depressed.
Okay.
And so you take on that, and it's like, okay, well, where's my outlet that I can, be able to, just dump this load that's been dumped on me.
Okay.
Also, when clients don't want to pay,
okay.
I'll be like, okay, now, I know you need to pay. I sent you that invoice.
Right.
Don't make me cut your service off.
Right, there you go. There you go.
So there are some down points, and then maybe when it's going slow.
Okay.
May not have as many clients as I want. And it's like, okay, well, where are the people at? So, and then the up is that, I'm helping people to live the life that they really want to live. I'm helping them to also see that they can achieve things. Okay. Sometimes if it's, somebody saying that, well, I wanted to start a business, for the past 10 years, but I can't seem to get it going. And I help them. I'm like that person to boost them along the way. And I tell people, like, listen, you may not like me through the process, but you will appreciate me and love me afterwards.
Okay.
Because I'm going to make sure that you get to where you want to get to.
Okay.
If you want to finish that degree, I'm going to make sure you get there. Because sometimes a lot of people just need that push, that motivation, that drive.
Okay.
So I'm there to say, okay, well, what do you want me to help you with?
Okay.
And how do you, and, you know, and yes, so that's the upside of seeing that at the end of it all, they're smiling.
Okay.
And it's like, you know, they say, I didn't see this a few years ago.
Okay.
But now I see this and I want to accomplish more. I want to go after even more.
So the eye-opening experience.
Mm-hmm.
So that brings us to your next thing that you do, which is motivational speaking. But before we get on to that, how do you release yourself from what comes at you as a life coach? How do you release yourself from that?
So I have a few different ways. I write, I journal about it, where I just write it down in my journal.
Now, see, I've been telling people, grab the journal.
Oh yes,
start writing,
oh yes, it helps. Yeah, because it's an outlet. Mm-hmm. It helps you release whatever going on. So I'll grab my journal and I'll just write. I'll pray. I'll also, you know, just talk to my friends. Now I don't ever say, well, my client name and stuff like that, right. But I have a safe group of friends. Okay. Now I'm not talking to everybody,
right?
But I have a safe group of friends that I can talk to about certain things, because they always say, you know, every counselor needs a counselor. Okay. And so that's my mindset with that.
I think we're like bartenders. We take, you know, we may not be mixing drinks, but we standing behind that counter ready to give you what advice that you may need, or just that ear to bend. So yeah, I agree on that one. So as a motivational speaker, okay, how do you motivate yourself when you get ready to either life coach or do a motivational session, or how do you motivate you? How do you motivate Linda?
So I look at it as, okay, I'm coming here to help give them a new perspective. Or I'm coming here to tell them about where I've come from and the new perspective that I've gained. Okay. So that's one of the ways that I motivate myself, because there are times when I'm like, I don't feel like it. So I'm going to just sit back here, chill, relax, whatever. Okay. But then I know that, you know what, I need to get out here. Because somebody needs that motivation as well. Like I said, we all need motivation at one point. And then I have people, again, those friends, that safe circle of people that motivate me, like, you can do this. Because when I'm doubting myself and I'm telling them that I'm doubting myself, they look at me like, are you serious? You're doubting yourself? Why? Of all people. Right. And so even motivators need motivation. Right. And so, again, that's why my circle is so important to me. Because they keep me grounded, they keep me motivated, they keep me going, and I can do the same for them. Right. Reciprocal. And then of course God, I'm like, God, you know, I just don't. This person, this client, they say they want to do this, but I don't see them really wanting to change, or I don't see them really, you know, getting involved in trying to take their business to the next level or anything like that. And you know, so. But then God says, you know, keep doing it. Right. Keep doing it, because it takes time. Right. So just really, you know, those main things.
Okay. So when you go into your motivational speaking mode, what's the difference between the atmosphere when you come in versus the atmosphere when you finish?
So the atmosphere is, of course, when I come in, and this is just the way that I feel tense, and I'm like, okay, you know, I'm looking at myself like, oh my goodness, are they going to listen? Are they going to, you know, that kind of stuff? Right. And of course, they're looking, some are smiling, some aren't. Mm-hmm. So you enter into that type of atmosphere. Okay. Sometimes the atmosphere is very welcoming. Sometimes it could be, I wouldn't say cold per se, but it could be a little warmer.
That's why you're there to warm it up. Okay.
But then after I leave, I have so many people that come to me and say, oh my goodness, I never thought about that. Mm-hmm. Or, oh my goodness, I never looked at it like that. Or, oh my goodness, I went through the same thing. So it's it's being able to relate to my audience, and then afterwards them coming to me and say, you know what, I feel that. I like the way you speak. You speak down to earth. You're down to earth. You're not all the way up in the clouds where people can't understand what you're saying, but you're down on my level.
Right.
Because I'm a kind of person where I do a lot of demonstrations.
Okay.
So whenever I speak, I'm doing a lot of demonstrations, and so that people can, connect to what I'm saying.
Okay.
So
not just all talk.
Right.
Okay.
Right. And I'm sometimes using people. Hey, come up here. Let me use you for this demonstration. And of course, some people like, no. And I just move on to the next person who can help me. Right. So I'll do that. I like to really engage with my audience and really be interactive with my audience so that they can, number one, pay attention, number two, really learn. So yes, the atmosphere after that is like, I appreciate it.
Okay. So when you're speaking, and I think we mentioned this a little earlier, the difference between being an introvert versus an extrovert. Which one do you consider yourself to be?
I am an introvert.
Okay.
But when I'm speaking, I know how to turn the extrovert on.
Okay.
But by nature myself, I am an introvert. And people look at me, you ain't no introvert. I'm like, yeah, I am.
When those of us that talk and we get on that positive mode, and people think there's no way you could have possibly been shy. I was a shy kid. I was always looking at the floor. I just was not the kind of person that could look somebody in the eye and because it just, for some reason, it was like they were looking down into the depths and could see. But and I agree with you. They don't see that because they see this bright and vibrant and smiling. We both cheesing in here. I just want y'all to know that. We're vibrant, and we're in there, and we're letting people know it's okay, and we've been there and we've done that, and it's just like, no.
Right.
How could you?
Because they always see you up front.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, how can you be an introvert? I mean, yeah, how can you be an introvert but you're up front? Mm-hmm. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm that kind of introvert that can turn on the extrovert. But when it comes to it, when I'm finished speaking, honestly, I'm ready to, maybe connect with a few people, but then I'm ready to go back and be in my own little space and relax.
Give me my
bubble. yes, give me my bubble. Let me reboot. And that's one of the things with introverts versus extroverts. Extroverts gain their energy from people. Okay. Like, they cannot be by themselves. They will go crazy. Introverts, I need to be alone to gain energy. Okay. That's just, and that's usually with a lot of introverts. They like being alone. And they go out and stuff like that, but they will always retreat back to that place of my space. Okay.
Now we're gonna talk a little bit about that, but I'm gonna bring up a point, and I tell this to my kids. I always talk about my kids when I'm on my show. My kids offer me a lot of things to think about, considering I have 4 of them. But anyway, I tell my kids that you need to learn to be by yourself. Okay, you can't always be with somebody, because life, the world's going on outside as we're sitting in here. So whoever's in our life, they're going about their daily business. So you can't always be with somebody. I tell my children, go out to a movie by yourself. Learn to enjoy it where it's just you, and you can eat your own popcorn and drink your own soda. Okay? Or when you go out, you don't have to worry about what everybody else is ordering. You can look at that menu and say, this is what I'm doing. Go to the park and sit down. Take in the fact that it's just you. You didn't have to drag anybody. You didn't have to bring a bag. You didn't have to worry about, was your little brother coming? Is he going to run off somewhere? Is he going to fall off the swing set? It's just you. Enjoy your you time.
Right.
Now, as an introvert or an extrovert, I kind of want to say the same thing. Introverts like that alone time, but at the same time, you have to learn to be alone in that alone time, and not always say, I gotta go find somebody to talk to. I've been alone long enough. Let's see who's available. So, agree, disagree?
Yeah, in terms of that alone time, introverts and extroverts need that time to unplug. And they both, if they do it, they they get a benefit out of doing that. So Yeah, and I know extroverts, and they do get that alone time that they need, because they'll say, well, I just need to unplug. So I'm going to turn off my face. I'm going to unplug from Facebook, all social media, and I'm gonna just get that alone time.
Right.
So yeah, everybody needs that alone time, and that's funny when you was talking about your kids. I was thinking how you was telling them that they need to go to movies by themselves. I think I was 30 years old when I first went to the movies by myself.
Okay.
I was never growing up. I come from a big family of 7 of us, and I never wanted to do stuff by myself. So if I was going out downtown DC or going to the movies or even walking to school, I wanted my sister or somebody to, let's go. I would sit on the bed. My sister hated going to school, and I would sit on the bed to like literally the last minute. School started at 8:30, and we lived right across the street from the school, and it would be like literally 8:25, and I'm still sitting on the bed like, come on, let's go to school, because I hated doing stuff by myself.
Right.
So that's funny that you tell them, go out to the park by yourself. I was never, I'll do it now, but in my 20s, when I was a teen, nah, I wasn't going anywhere by myself. Right. I'm not going to the movies by myself. What I look like going to the movies by myself, because I figured, hey, if I'm going to go out, I need somebody to talk to.
Okay.
That's how I felt. Like if I'm going out somewhere, to a park, to the movies, to the mall, whatever, I need somebody to talk to. But now, I'll go by I'll go by myself.
It's amazing what you do when you get older versus
right.
when you're young. Amazing. And I agree with you, because I was always going to, I can remember back when my brother and I went to our first movie, and yes, Lord, it was Snow White. That's telling my age. Anyway, we went together. Mind you, we didn't sit together, but we went together. Okay, so it's like I was everywhere with my brother. Okay, or going in my extended family, which is huge. There was always somebody somewhere with you, so I was never by myself. So understanding being by myself was just not a concept at that time. I was always surrounded, and it was just like, it was almost like being naked in the middle of a auditorium filled with people just glaring at you. Okay. So okay, we got motivational speaker, we've got life coach, and now author. What made you decide to write, and especially write this book that you wrote?
So even growing up, even from way back middle school, I have some written material that I've never published, but still have just laying around. I used to write poetry, short stories, plays, and I told you I journal, and I have journaled since middle school. So I have a good over 15 years of journaling.
You sound like me.
And yeah, I just have journals of, I remember when my mom first bought me my journal, because before she bought me, I guess, an official journal. Not that you need to buy an official journal or anything. You can use a tablet. That's what I was using when I was in 7th grade. My spiral notebook.
You all know what I was using? Remember those notebooks that had those raised pictures on it, where you put then you put a piece of paper on it and like go over it with a pencil, and that's what I was using. And I'm telling my age again. Let me shut up. Okay. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, so I was using my little spiral notebook, and and then she bought me a journal, and I started buying journals after that. And so when I was younger, I wanted to be a writer.
Okay.
I wanted to be an urban writer. I knew that I didn't want to be a formal writer or anything like that. English was never my best subject in school, and I was okay with that, and I'm still okay with that, because like I tell people, if I'm speaking and you understand what I'm saying, then hey, we communicating.
Okay.
So after that, I put it away, and then about 3 years ago, maybe 3 years. Yeah, 3 years ago, I wasn't working. I was laid off, and I started to write this book, Dating Smart. So I started writing this book, and then I got a job within like maybe a month of when I started writing that book.
Okay.
And then I put it on the back burner.
Okay. All right. Well, you know what? We're going to come back, and we're going to talk about that book on the back burner. And y'all come back with us. This is Lady Blue, the Lady Blue Radio Show on WMSK Online Radio, where talk radio just got better. Hello, hello, hello. We are back. Lady Blue is here, your girl, on the Lady Blue Radio Show WMSKonlineradio.com, where talk radio just got better. Bay Jewelers has a Mother's Day special coming up. So while the entire store is on sale with up to 70% off, there are diamond earrings starting at $49.99, Michael Kors watches starting at $159.99, free diamond stud earrings with purchase of $299 and up. No money down, no credit check, everyone is approved. Bay Jewelers, conveniently located at Marley Station Mall, 7900 Ritchie Highway in Glen Burnie, Maryland. For more info, call 443-354-3173. We are back with Miss Linda Lowe, and we are going to keep talking a little bit about motivational speaking, being an author, writing, because writing is huge in my world. Y'all know I'm a blogger, so writing is huge in my world. How often do you write, Linda?
So I will, in terms of just for downtime or
downtime, anytime really.
Okay. So I don't journal as much as I used to, just because, you know, when you grow up, life takes you in a different direction. But my goal is to journal at least once a day.
Okay.
I have not reached that goal yet, but I'm going to get there.
It is a goal that is hard to get to.
Yes.
Wait till you have to get to the point where you gotta write like 2-3 times a week, and you gotta write twice a day.
Yeah, so that's my goal, to journal at least once a day, you know, definitely at the end of my day.
Okay.
So I can just put it all out there and have record of what, you know, what took
Right.
place. Because one day I am going to publish all of my journals. So all of my business will be out there.
All craziness will
Everything will be out there. Now, in terms of my personal blog on my website, I'm setting a goal. I used to do once a day for about 3-4 months, I think, maybe a little bit longer than that. But now I'm getting to the point where I want to do every other week or at least once a month. I also write for an online magazine, so I put something out with them once a month.
Okay.
So that's...
We got a little bit in common because I do the same thing. All right. But writing, you know, the writer's creed is to just write.
Mm-hmm.
You can write, even if you write, I had a good day today.
Mm-hmm.
Guess what? You just wrote.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have to be long and lengthy. You don't have to write a chapter in a book, and you don't have to write your autobiographical novel either in a sitting. You just write whatever it is.
And let me say, and I post on social media, so that's part of my writing.
Okay,
so
I'll get to where to find you on social media. But you know, there's one thing that I do, and I'm going to ask your opinion about it, is that I post little pick-me-up notes all around my house. They are still standing to this day. Some of them are in the bathroom, and they've been waterlogged by steam in the shower, but I ain't changed them yet.
Yep.
Do you do that yourself?
I sure enough do.
Okay.
Right above my bed, I have Post-it notes with messages on them, positive messages. Before, years ago, actually, I would say probably about maybe 10 years ago, I had this my makeshift nightstand. It was a cardboard box.
Okay.
And I wrote all over that cardboard. And it was a huge size cardboard box as well. And I wrote all over that cardboard box. Scripture just everywhere. That's when my spiritual life was just taken up a notch.
Okay.
And I would just write every single thing down right there on that cardboard box. And then I even started writing on the wall. I ain't even gonna lie.
Okay.
I needed stuff to be there so that, you know, that I was getting, I needed to be able to see it on a daily. Okay. Even at my office, when I was working this particular job, at my office, I had Post-it notes right behind my desk, and a nice little artistic view of just different scriptures. I would read it, write it down, post it. Okay. Post-it notes on my computer. So yes, I am a stickler of having those messages up. I even took it to the point where, when my daughter was younger, where we made it an art and either designed it on the computer or designed it by hand and put it in the picture frame and would hang it up around the house.
Okay, you nothing wrong with that. I like it. Yeah. I do it. I'm, you know, even in my bag next to me, we're sitting right here, I got separate journals, and of course my boyfriend thinks I'm nuts, but yeah, I have what I write down for WMSK. I have what I write down for my blog. I have my book for my book. And then I have there is like 6 or 7 different journals, and it's like, how do you keep up with that? So it depends on where my mind goes.
Right.
I have a journal for when I'm riding the bus and something comes to mind, and I whip it out
and start.
Because riders hear things in different modes. You can take a shower and wish you had a waterproof pen. Okay?
Yes, that's where I get a lot of my ideas. I will be in the shower like, oh, I like that, and when I get out, I'm quickly writing it down because you have to capture that moment.
Yes,
because you will forget. You be like, what did I say? What did I think? Yes. Oh my goodness, I can't believe it. And sometimes it comes back, and sometimes it doesn't.
Yes.
So you got to get it in the moment.
Yes, I even have it next to me when I go to sleep. You never know. You wake up from that good dream and be like, oh, nope, got to write that down.
Right, yes.
So, yes, thank you. I'm not alone.
No, you're not alone.
Like I'm alone now. Okay.
You are not alone.
Hello. You're just doing some Michael Jackson. Stop it. Okay. Now, you got a wonderful educational background. You are inspiring others as you inspire yourself. You have different audience levels. That's one thing I did notice. And the one audience level I want to ask you about is the tweens versus the teens. What is that audience like in terms of their mindset? I mean, because the little ones, they're going to be restless. And you got to do a lot to capture their attention. But the teens and the tweens.
So the tweens is the whole, if you've never heard the term before, that's that in-between stage, in between of being a child, but not yet a teenager. And that's that middle school age where I think that age is the, how can I say this? That age is the most difficult, I think, to deal with, because at that age, you're trying to figure out what you want to do. It's like, okay, sometimes I act like a child, and then sometimes I want to act like a teenager, and if I try to hang out with the teenagers, they don't want to hang out with me because I'm too young. Okay. And I don't really want to hang out with the little kids because they too young. And so you're trying to really, that age group is where you get a lot of the conflict. As a person who deals with tweens, you get a lot of the conflict. Where they're learning to control themselves, but they haven't controlled themselves yet. Even the way they walk, just their balance, all of that stuff, everything is developing. So they're learning new things because going through puberty, that's the early start of puberty. So dealing with them takes a lot of patience. A lot of patience because, again, like I said, they want to play. They're still in that playful age, that playful, type
once
thing.
You get rolling, then I mean, you capture their attention. I'm sure it's a whole different story. Now, are you as interactive with them as you are with your adult audience?
Oh yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So they are
because they're more. A lot of them are more willing to do things. Okay. So definitely interactive all the time with them. Okay. Now the teens are more. I guess they're still talkative and but they're not playing. They don't play as much. Okay. They're more chill, but they do talk. They're the ones with the mouths that you just feel like, what, I'm about to punch you right in your mouth if you don't be quiet. And they be like, punch me.
What okay. So you don't tell my mama like that. Don't do that. Do not do that. What about the battle with cell phones? I mean, I know you got a battle with electronics because you can't tell me that everybody's not in there with their head down.
Right. So one thing I do with my church are youth retreats, and I remember when I did the first one back in 2008. And cell phones, not everybody had a cell phone at that time. I think now the majority of teens have cell phones. So for those who had it, I was like, okay, well, turn your cell phone in. And sometimes I'll have them turn their cell phone in. Sometimes I'll have them interact on their cell phones. So it really just depends on what I'm doing. Okay. It just really depends on what I'm doing.
Okay. Because I know sometimes it's a battle just to get mine off the Xbox at home.
Like my daughter, like now, she has no phone. She's on phone restriction. So I collect her phone. Thank you very much. And I take it and I tell her if she tries to go and sneak and get it, then her punishment is longer, which she actually did. She was on the phone one night, and
I pulled a Todd Chrisley.
Listen, I came in the house. She was on her way out to a basketball game with my nephew and my sister. She was driving them up there. And I came in the house and I think she was rushing out so fast. I saw the charger and the plug. And I was like, why is her charger on this side of the room when, I know where she normally keeps her charger at? I was like, oh, she was on the phone. And so, I looked at the phone. I was like, yeah. Because by that time, I had already had it for a week. So it should have been dead.
Just can't
right. So, and even before then, when she had her phone, I'll make her turn her phone in. Turn your phone in at night. No, you cannot.
Don't play mamas.
Yeah.
Okay. Because me with the Xbox, I don't live in a huge space, but I have to come up with creative ways to hide that. That's not a small machine.
Yeah.
Okay. But with my kids, once it's out of sight, they don't. Their mind just goes to something else. It turns on something else that they had turned off.
Right.
Especially when it comes to like the TV. My 16-year-old really doesn't watch TV. He's a drawer. He loves to draw.
Okay.
And so I know he puts on his little half gloves or his racing gloves. It's drawing time. Okay. And just leave him alone because he goes into his own little realm.
Yeah.
And so yes, if Mama takes the cell phone, don't bother. Okay.
Right.
That's all I've got to say about that.
Right.
Okay. So now the difference between, real quick, between the teens and the young adults, because teen goes up to adult age, which is 18. And what's your age range in terms of the young adult crowd? Is that like
20s,
mid 20s, or the whole 20s?
I would say the whole 20s.
Okay.
Yeah. All of 20s. With them, they're more of thinkers.
Okay.
They're starting to think about stuff and analyze it. Okay. And
put life in perspective.
Yeah, definitely put life in perspective. Start to, develop their own goals, their own morals, their own values based off of what they've been taught. Okay. They start to look at life like that. They start to look at life from who they are, opposed to who has raised them, their parents, grandparents, whomever. Okay. So, conversations, that's where conversations, where they start talking about. With teens, when you're trying to engage them in discussion, they don't really talk back as much. But young adults, they're going to give it to you. They're going to talk. That's where that conversation is.
Okay, awesome. Well, you know what? We're going to find out about the grown folk, too, here in a minute. This is Lady Blue, the Lady Blue radio show on WMSK Online Radio, where talk radio just got better. All right, everybody, we are back. It's your girl, Lady Blue, on the Lady Blue radio show, live on WMSK Online Radio.com, where talk radio just got better. Listen, if you have nothing to do on August the 6th, WMSK is presenting the Crab Feast and Concert event. Again, on August 6th, where? Martin's Crosswinds in Greenbelt, Maryland, and the time is at 7 p.m. Come on out with WMSKOnlineRadio.com and CEO Tia, Miss Connoisseur herself, Hamilton, as she celebrates her birthday with all you can eat crab feast. Okay, all you can eat. Whatever you can put in there, that's what you're going to get. Okay, unlimited premium drinks, concert featuring comedian T.K. Kirkland, Dougie Fresh, and yes, MC Light. MC Light in the house. All right, tickets per person, $129. $50 deposit due April 1st. Second payment due May 1st of $50. Final balance due on June the 1st. Reminder that space is limited and will fill very fast. So visit www.yourtripinfo.com and use trip code TIA 000089, WMSKOnlineRadio.com. Note that once you paid, okay, you can purchase it in full all at the same time, or you can do the payments. You're responsible for your own transportation, but for more information, call 443-814-1337. Hope to see y'all in the house live for that one. All right, Miss Linda, we're going to come back and talk a little bit more about what you do, why you do it, how you do it, where you do it. Yes. I think that's what we're going to focus on right now, is where you do it in this last couple of minutes. Do you work out a specific place? Do you do most of your events, in-house, where you do most of your events? But you have an upcoming event coming up in April. Talk a little bit about that.
Yes, so I have an upcoming event in April, which is basically, it's called the DMV Women's Entrepreneur Event, and it's basically a place where women entrepreneurs who are, seasoned, newbies, and those who want to just start and going into business for themselves. And it's a place where they can network with other women where they can learn the ins and outs of how to be successful, how to take advantage of social media. So it's a place, a mixer where you can come and just gain more information and take your business to the next level, because there's nothing more important than to making those connections with other people who are also in the same business. So that's my event coming up, and you can find out more information if you just go to my website. It's on Eventbrite as well, but you can go to my website, and it's on, if you go to my events link.
Okay, and what's your website link?
Yes, my website is www.lindadlowe.com. So LINDA, another D, LOWE.com.
Okay, awesome. And on there they can find out everything about motivational speaking, life coach.
Yes.
Can you schedule your retreats on there as well, or any group events, or?
Well, anything that you're requesting of me, you can let me know. Send me an email. I have a page, a link on there where you can contact me. So anything you need to know or you would like to schedule, definitely just shoot me an email and I'll get it and respond.
And how do people get a hold of your book?
It's on Amazon.com.
What's the title?
And the title is Dating Smart, 9 Tips to Transform Your Crazy Dating Life. So it's on Amazon, or you can come to my website. I have a link on my website homepage right there.
Okay. Awesome. So if you're on there, get the book. I know I got it. Okay.
Yes.
I'm going to read it. And we are going to see what's up. Not that my dating life is crazy. It used to be. Trust me on that one. But so we talked about the event. We talked about your website. We talked about your motivational speaking and your being a life coach, and all of that, I'm sure, just has your life in one great big, but I'm sure you're enjoying the trip and the wave and the ride.
Yes.
As it speak, is there one piece of advice that you would give to the audience out there in terms of dating in this day and age that's not in your book? Is there something that you would give?
That's not in my book.
That's not in your book.
I'm gonna just give a one-liner. Don't rush.
Okay.
Yeah. Don't rush. Learn who you are.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Take that to the bank. You can build equity, security, whatever you want to call it on that one.
And that will not bounce.
Do not rush yourself when it comes to relationships. Relationships will happen when they are meant to be.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing that I have learned, especially within this whole thing, is learn who you are.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that is important, because if you don't know you, if you don't know how to be you, if you're too busy comparing yourselves to others, okay, you'll never find out the uniqueness of who you are.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing, and it's okay to say this time of day, is I have to go with RuPaul. It's like, if you can't love you, how the hell are you gonna love somebody else? Can I get an amen?
Amen.
All right,
that's right.
So with that, Linda, I want to thank you for coming on my show today, taking the time to come on down here and be with us here at WMSKOnlineradio.com. We will look forward to having you back.
Yes.
In the near
I loved
future.
it.
We got some exciting things coming up, especially for Lady Blue. So, we got some things coming up on a Lady Blue radio show. So please stay tuned, Linda. Thank you once again for being here with me. And ladies and gentlemen, before I let you go for the day, I want to leave you with this, okay? Life is a series of ups and downs. You experience them all in due time. Some experience them loudly and display them loudly, especially their downs, and keep their moments of up or excitement on a low. Okay? In the series of challenges we face on a daily basis, I offer you this one piece of advice. Continue to look up. Changing your perspective can change your outcome, your outlook, and definitely your view. Look at your world like a clean canvas and begin to paint. Enjoy your day, and just remember to be the you were created to be. And with that, Lady Blue is going to leave you with a beautiful day. Please step outside and enjoy this day. Do not let this day go to waste. If there's anything that anyone can do for you that you haven't done for yourself, smile. That's the biggest thing. Learn that your smile is the most beautiful thing on you, and if there's there's something else beautiful on you, shine. Shine with it. Don't be ashamed of it. Let the world see who you are in all your uniqueness. And just remember, weeping may endure for a night, but joy, it does come in the morning. This is Lady Blue on the Lady Blue Radio Show on WMSKOnlineradio.com, where talk radio just got better.
To motivate's the motivation. It's not the money, it's funny cause it's still motivating. Don't give the haters the cold shoulder, you motivate them to do better, cause maybe then they'll hold the hating. Don't just follow your dreams, man, you gotta chase them. Never follow your heart, man, it's not a racing. Don't wait for God to do the placement. You gotta set it up yourself before he puts his face in. See, if you take one step, he'll take two. And if you move forward, then he'll make moves. Joy comes in the morning, even at night too. So if you need motivation, better call Lady Blue.